So the big question is this: how can dyslexics like us create a place, a community, a tribe, where people at any stage of life can come and solve any challenge, amplify their strengths, and ultimately help them become who they were meant to be? Or in other words, conquer their dyslexia. That is the question, and this show is the answer. My name's Theo Goff, and welcome to the Conquering Dyslexia podcast.
Hello guys, what's happening? It's Theo here. I want to say something that's a message that's extremely important, and this message is, I can say it two different ways. The first way I can say is, if you believe you can and if you believe you can't, you're both right. It's what I say over and over again in my Conquer Dyslexia book. Another way of saying just as true, just a different way of saying it, is that what's keeping you from what you want is the story you tell yourself about why you can't have it. And that's what I worked out in my experience of conquering my dyslexia. I worked out it's the story I told myself is the reason why I can't have what I want. It's the story I told myself about my dyslexia and about myself that stopped me having it. That stopped me having it is the story I said. And I really want to tell you, so if you want to conquer dyslexia, this is the second step you need to understand to start conquering dyslexia. Is begin to understand the power of our mind. And the power of our mind is unbelievable, because the human potential is incredible. And I think that everyone has this dyslexia and living. A question we should ask ourselves is, what is our actual potential as a human being having dyslexia? For me, what is my actual potential in life? Because once you ask that question, get so many answers that are outside your realm of thinking. Because I remember when I really realized the power of this, I remember I was sitting in the middle of the in a room in the office in my school that I was at, in my sixth form school, with the head of English. I've only been there about 6-7 months now, to be honest. And I was there as the head of English, and I was angry. I remember having a red face on me. So I was annoyed. I was saying to her, "Look, I was like, look, there's no way, no matter help, no matter support you could do to help me for me to improve my English." So this head of English, I was angry, I was annoyed, and I was saying, look, I've had the best help support for all of my life. I think I worked it out. I've had over 1,500 days of special ed school, which is of 8-hour days of special ed school, which is like a class of 7 big class, 5 average class with 2 teachers teaching you specific dyslexic strategies for 8 hours for over 1,500 days, and over 500 one-to-one lessons with a very well qualified person. I was like, if they can't help me improve my English, how the hell do you think you can with your little help and your little support within a very, very short space of time? And that was my logic, and that was what I was saying to myself over and over again. And what I was saying to her, I was annoyed, and my face was red. I was like, why doesn't she understand this? Why doesn't she know? And she was saying things like, why don't you focus a bit more? Why don't you try a bit harder? Why don't you put a bit more effort in? I was like, don't you understand? That's the worst thing you can talk about a dyslexic person. That's the worst thing you can say to a dyslexic person. And then what I want to share with you is that she said something then that changed my life forever, drastically. She said these words. She said, "Why do you say that, Theo?" That's the most annoying rage in me, sort of saying, I just told you why I think that. And I looked at her, and I could see that face, when she had the face of sort of a curiosity, she wanted me to actually answer the question, not in a mean way, not in an obvious antagonizing way, actual way that she wanted me to look inside myself and do some soul searching and actually answer this question. I was like, okay, let's calm down. She's not trying to be horrible, not trying to be mean. Let's just answer this question. I was like, okay, why do I think this? Well, I think this, well, because I believe it. I believe I can't do it because of my past. And then literally, I had that thought, and I was like, literally, my brain raced. Because at this point, I dramatically improved my confidence for having no confidence, and I was obsessed, spent thousands of hours on improving myself and understanding how life works. If there's one thing I've learned from understanding how life works, it's this. is that your beliefs stop you getting what you want. And it's that beliefs are just an opinion. Beliefs are not fact. And I was like, hold on. I just said that I don't believe I can't improve my English. The beliefs aren't facts, they're opinions. I was like, oh my God. I remember just feeling this, and I remember having this like epiphany that happened just like that. I remember saying to her, I believe I can't learn English. That's why I say it, because I believe it. I believe it because of my past. I remember, I cannot remember what she said, but I remember thinking, like I said that, and I remember thinking, this little voice back then said, what if? What if you could do it, Theo? What if you could defy all of your past experiences, like once you defy all your past, like 8 years of trying to improve it, what if you could defy that and actually open up the possibility that I could improve my English? What could I do then? I was like, oh my God, that's it was scary. It was extremely scary because it felt like I opened a box that I forced closed, that forced to shut for years and years, what felt like my whole life. Because I felt like if I opened it again, I would open myself up for failure. I'd open myself up to be vulnerable and then find out that I can't do it and then be hurt and then have it affect my self-esteem and who I am about what I can do in the future. What seemed like the safest thing is closing the box and leaving it out there. And never being hurt. But what I realised is that it's a belief that's not, it's the belief that keeps the box closed. It's not fact. I was like, okay, let's open this up. And then I remember in a conversation with her, I was like, okay, what if I can improve it? What if I give everything I got? I remember feeling this, and I said it's a belief, and I remember I left that because I could feel like I'm bawling quiet. I didn't say anything. I just got up and I left because I remember just feeling so emotional. My eyes started watering up, saying about, look, I can improve it. Look, this is a possibility. Like, I can improve it. I can do it. It's just a belief stopping me from doing that. I remember on the bus home thinking to myself, like, oh my God, like, I have two options. Like, now I open up this possibility I can improve it. Now I've got two options. Like, I could, for example, if I give it everything I got, defy all my past, and don't use that as an excuse, defy my past, okay, give it everything I got, and then what's my options? Okay, if it doesn't work, I would know I'm true, and I could close the book and I'd leave it there for the rest of my life, knowing I give it everything I got. But I was like, okay, what happens if it works? What happens if I do dramatically improve my English? Like, wow. Well, that means I could defy my past. That means I could prove myself wrong, that dyslexia was not controlling me. And also, more importantly, I could be an example to myself and to everyone else that I will not have dyslexia stop me. Oh my God, that's what I wanted to do. So I was like, so I had this idea, and then I started doing it. I got obsessed. I worked extremely hard to improve it, and there's loads of barriers and loads of things in the way. But then after 1 year, I dramatically improved my reading and writing ability, 500% in that 1 year, having little to no help because of my work ethic, as well as that I passed the test they wanted me to pass. But more importantly, I proved to myself what was possible. I proved to myself what was possible with enough work, enough effort in. And I really worked, because what I understood, I actually worked on my psychology, my beliefs, my thinking process. Because I realised throughout my life, I would always take 2 steps forward and 1 step back. Have you ever felt that if you have dyslexia, you're taking 2 steps forward, try and do it, but you take 1 step back? And the reason why you do that is because you have values in conflict. What this means is you want to improve your English because you think it'll make you feel better, and then you're thinking I'm going to do all these good things, so you're motivated to do it. But when you go to do that thing, you believe you can't do it. Therefore, you try something and then you say stupid things to yourself, like, oh, I can't do it, oh, this isn't for me. And that's what I had to deal with, trying to improve my English. Those things happened almost daily. But I have to understand where it comes from. It comes from a belief. This process I went through, I think it's unbelievable. It's called the Dyslexia Blueprint, but it's crazy. But that's not why I wanted to make this little video and tell you this stuff, and also do this podcast. So there's something I want to go through now. It's so cool, and I think it'll be really valuable. But it's understanding the framework about how your mind works. Honestly, I came up with this a couple of weeks ago. I knew this, but I haven't drawn it out to make it clear perfect sense about how the mind works, because 80% of life is psychology, 20% is doing, 80% of it is mindset. Sorry, my nose, I get like something excited. So basically, this is how life works. Are you ready? So I'll start it at the top. So basically, it's like, think about the most top, the highest thing that controls our decisions, that we can consciously have control over and can consciously notice, is our values. Okay, it's what we value, and what a value is how important is things to us in our life, how important is friends in our life, how important is the feeling of adventure, how important is being secure and knowing what's going to happen and when it's going to happen, how important is having a family, how important is it being in a relationship. Okay, because like some people's value, like for example, a lot of people's value is like, especially a lot of people that I know, is they want to being in a relationship meets their values. Like having a boyfriend, having a girlfriend, that's being in a value. But being in a relationship is their value. They want to do it to meet other needs. Okay, I'm not getting it too complex, but like they value higher being in a relationship rather than being in a good relationship. Does that make sense? They rather be in a relationship that's not the best relationship they can be in, because they just want to be in one. Maybe something that's not perfect, but they'd rather that than not being a bad than not being in a relationship, than be single. But other people would be happy, value being in a really good relationship, therefore they're single more because they're finding the person that can meet that. But anyway, so we have values, and from those values, basically we have a system to meet those values, and our system to meet those values are what's called beliefs. Now, there's 4 words that can describe beliefs, okay? And like a belief, all a belief is a feeling of certainty about something. I'm going to explain how we made our beliefs, okay? I'm going to explain how beliefs came about. So basically we have our beliefs. So they could have beliefs. Another word for beliefs can be rules. Now what do I mean when I say rules? What I mean is that if A, B and C happens, I will feel this way. Like for example, this is a type of belief. Like for example, if I walk into work and I crack a joke and someone laughs, this makes me believe I'm a funny person. Or if this happens in school and this person reacts this way, this means I'm dumb. We have a belief about what has to happen, and that sort of things. So that's one way of a belief. A belief is rules. Another belief is another form of belief is story. The story we tell ourselves. Story I tell myself is, no matter how hard I work, I can't improve. The story I tell myself is, I'm not a dumb person. The world is this way. That's a story. Or another sort of belief is a label. A label like, oh, I'm dumb. Or a label like because when I say labels, I mean the labels that we physically put upon ourselves. Not like a label called dyslexia. That's an outside label that like someone puts on us. A physical thing, but the diagnosis of dyslexia should not affect you emotionally. Okay, you're in charge of your emotions, and like a label like I label myself as a dumb dyslexic. That's a label. That's a label. Other words are for beliefs. So you have values up here. They go to our beliefs. I hope this is making sense, guys. So you have values, and they go towards our beliefs. In other words, like our certain beliefs can help meet our values. And from our beliefs, like how do we create our beliefs? We create our beliefs from meanings. Now, so we have our beliefs, and we create our beliefs from our meanings. So we take meanings from certain situations, which is going to be another big circle element. So basically, we have our certain situations we happen of being in school, or being in a relationship, or just being in life, and then from these certain situations, we create certain meanings. So this situation means this situation means that, and from that meaning, we create our beliefs. Does that make sense? I have to explain these like these three. For example, in every situation, we create a meaning. For example, the meaning is you're at school and you're writing something on the board, and the kids laugh at you because you spelled elephant wrong, and this means I'm dumb and I'm stupid. And the meaning from this is I feel dumb and stupid, and this meaning means I am dumb and stupid. And then the action I'll take will be never putting my hand up for doing this, and then this sort of trickles down into your identity, and it gets all complex. But I hope I'm not. I probably am, but I hope I'm not over making this too complex. So The experiences we go through, and through those experiences, we create certain meanings from those experiences. And from those meanings, we create our beliefs. And from those beliefs, we create our values. Okay? Our values for our life. And now, so there's one element below situations that we don't really have a lot of control over, but yet they drastically influence our life, because you can see it around the world. And because around the world, if you're born in a different environment, which is the last level, if you're born in a different environment, you would naturally grow up with different values, with different beliefs, okay? Because you're born in, like, for example, in a completely other part of the world that would not have the same culture, or the same culture, the same environment. Therefore, you would have different experiences. Therefore, you'd have different beliefs. Therefore, you'd have different values. Does that make sense? So this is how it all goes. So it starts with our base. So we're born and we have our environment, our culture, our government, or whatever. And we have our environment, and through the environment we have some experiences, okay? We have certain common experiences, like if we're born in one environment, we have a lot of common experiences, another environment, a lot of other common experiences. And from this environment, we create certain common situations, okay? Environment situations. From these situations, we pull meaning from every situation, okay? It's part of humans are meaning-making creatures, and the situation we have little control over. The environment we have almost no control over. But the meaning we pull from the situation is unbelievably valuable. I go to all this really deep into the book about meaning. But we pull meanings from certain situations, and those meanings become our beliefs about who we are as a person, about what we can do, about, believe we can, we believe we can't, we're both right. And that is controlled. The meaning we pull from the situations become our beliefs. And then from our beliefs go into our values. And our values is really deep ingrained in us. It's quite hard to change, to be quite honest. You can. It takes a lot of process, but it's a lot easier to change your beliefs and also the meaning you took from old situations. So that's it. And I hope you understand that. And first finish off is that, so this is the stuff that's happening in your life. There's two unconscious things that can control our life. Like, think of it like, okay, this is the ground and the sky. No, this is like all the ground stuff, all the ground floor level. And then up here in the clouds, there's two unconscious things that we have no control over, but we can use to influence our values, or influence our behavior. Every human and every animal has this. It's pain and pleasure. I'm not going to go into it really deeply here. Well, I use the example. For example, if you want to train a dog to sit, and every time they do the behavior you like, you'll give them a treat. You'll give them a treat, which is a positive reward. And they know, okay, doing this equals a positive reward, they'll do that more. And if the dog do something you don't like, for example, barking at another dog, which my dog does quite a lot, you tell your dog off, you do whatever, you shout at it, you put it on the lead or whatever, and the dog will feel pain. Because the dog feels pain because of that, guess what it does? It doesn't want to do that behavior again because it links pain to doing that behavior. Does that make sense? So basically, what this means is human beings have this just like every other animal, okay? Pain and pleasure. Whatever we link more pain to, then pleasure will move away from. Whatever we link more pleasure to, then pain will move towards. Now, this isn't intellectual, no. Humans are emotion, and then we use our logic to justify why we feel a certain way, okay? But human beings are emotional creatures. It's how we associate pain and pleasure, not up here, but in our nervous system, or more like our gut system, more in here rather than here. Does that make sense? So how we can use this, if you want to change your behavior, you come up with, like, for example, you do something you don't like. You want to start a habit. You write down 10 painful things that will happen if you don't do the habit, okay? And you write down 10 positive things that will happen if you do the habit. And that's exactly how I got myself to write this book. That's exactly how I got myself to increase my dyslexia, to improve my confidence. Because I would link pain to not doing the actions that I knew I should be doing, and pleasure to doing the actions. I'll do that over and over and over again. So, that's the power of the mind, guys. That's the power of the mind. Now, this is incredibly powerful, this little chapter. It's in the Conquering Dyslexia book. And listen, if you want to know more, if you want to know more of this in depth, you understand how your dyslexia, how your mind is controlling your dyslexia more than your dyslexia is controlling your mind, understand, like, it's in the Conquering Dyslexia book. But also, I know, why would I give a book dyslexic book out there that's got over 30, 40, 50,000 words in for a dyslexic person to read, and they struggle with reading. So that's why I want to give an audiobook for you lot, okay? It's going to be for an audiobook. If you go to conqueringdyslexia.net/book, you can have this. Also, I'm going to put this links everywhere. Message me, I can send you the link. But go to conqueringdyslexia.net/book. You can get the free audiobook of the Conquering Dyslexia. It gives you 12 steps, step 2, 12 steps on how you can conquer your dyslexia. Alright guys, I'll see you later and have fun.